Oh, definitely give thanks for your presence with us. Glorify the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie first. Give thanks for all loved ones. Give thanks to those who are just coming in for sure. Now, this presentation will be given to you in a premiere version. So in other words, it will be somewhat, live, if you want to call it that. So I will be waiting for some of the loved ones to get the notification so that they can definitely, sit in and sup in with us live and direct. But for those who are here, let me just highlight to you early and bright. I'm talking about Rastafari Experience Antigua, presenting once more another gigantic event. I'm talking about the Spring Equinox Experience 2022. Yes, family, I'm talking about this year, 2022, from the 18th of March, Friday, the 18th of March, to Thursday, the 24th day of March. Yes, family, what a wonderful session we have put together here for you. We'll be having the double hike, of course, to Green Castle Hill. I would believe that the vast majority of the audience would have an understanding of exactly what Green Castle Hill is all about. And at the same time, for those who do not know, well, you could definitely check our book, Ancient and Modern, which you find on our website, priestIsaacInstitute.com. And of course, we have done several videos right here on the YouTube that you could research, Green Castle Hill, and it gives you a good understanding of what Green Castle Hill is all about and why it is worth your while to visit Green Castle Hill, of course, guided by myself, the Honorable Priest Isaac, and of course, Rastafari Experience Antigua. So this year, again, we will be returning to that, you could call it face-to-face hike. You would recall for the last 2 years, we have been doing it virtually for obvious reasons, you know why. But this year, we are definitely looking to return to the face-to-face, and this is why we are inviting ones to come and join us right here in Antigua, come and pay us a literal visit here in Anu. So we could definitely sit in together and, take this thing to another height. We will be having our astronomy watch night. This is going to be grand as we observe the stars and the movements of the heavens. For sure, you're going to love that. And we are having a special bonus this year. We will be having a yoga retreat for the whole day. That one will be taking place on the 24th day of March. So, I mean, the full package, family, is something that you don't want to miss. And even hear this, we have not dropped the virtual component to this event. So in other words, it is still available for those who will not be able to make it virtually. Yes, so you can contact us and ask us about the virtual package. You don't know how it go. We always have some early bird tickets for those who get their virtual package early. For those who have always been with us on the virtual hikes, you already know what it is all about. The excitement and the vibes. Everything will be virtual, family. The cannabis tour will be virtual. The chalice talk will be virtual as well. The yoga retreat, you'll be live right there with us. The astronomy watch night. Yes, everything will be definitely dandy. So looking forward to your presence. If you're joining us here in Antigua, great. If you're doing it virtual, we're still happy that you are with us. Now, for those who are just coming in again, you would have seen, well, what we are speaking about today. We are going into, the whole aspect of the type of Lent fast. I just wanted to give a clearer understanding. As you know, we'll be doing, a series of programs leading up to and during the Lent, just to touch upon different aspects of it. I don't intend to be long with this here this evening. I just wanted to give a clear idea of the different types of fast and the way I understand them and how they're engineered and how you go forward and how you do them, etc., etc. And I am going to say a quick word here about the string of coups that have been taking place in Africa. It may seem like two different subject areas. In a sense, it is really, because the whole aspect of the African coups, we will be talking about that exclusively on the Tiger's Nest tonight on Radio Anu. So after this program here, we're going straight over to Radio Anu. And of course, you will join us in the Tiger's Nest. You don't know how to get to Radio Anu? PriestIsaacInstitute.com. But the link is in the description below this video. From you get down there, you can find it. All right, for sure. But now, so the Lent, the period of the 40-day and 40-night, and the type of fast, because ones have been asking how you fast, what the type of fast, and I would repeat, if for some reason you don't get your belly full with this program here, because again, I'm not going to be too long, but we have done, I think for the last 2 years, we have been doing series of programs during this 40-day and 40-night period of fasting that has been recommended to us by the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards. So they usually entitled Lent 1, Lent 2, Lent and the Woman, Lent and something, different Lent programs, the meaning of it and such and such. So you could always revisit the archives, the YouTube channel, you could revisit, you know, of course, just type in Lent in the search and these videos will come up and you could revisit them and get more detail than maybe what you're getting now tonight. But again, I just want to somewhat sit on the different types of fasts. That's really what I want to concentrate on. I don't want to go too far outside of that realms. All right. Now, so you know, you read in the Bible. Let me start it this way. You read in the Bible of 40 days and 40 nights in the wild, when Christ went into the wilderness and he was fasting 40 days and 40 nights. He's not the only individual. Moses in the mountain was there 40 days and 40 nights, and Moses was going through his sacred fasting period too. Other ones, Elijah and these different ones, this 40-day and 40-night period is very key. So, of course, we all know that in this modern world that we live in, you would always hear about this Lenten period, which will, you know, somewhat connected to the period of Easter. At least Easter will come at the end of the Lent. And, you know, the Easter Sunday, the Easter Monday, the Good Friday, and all of that stuff. Good. So interestingly now, the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, Melchizedek with us in flesh, would have come amongst us, and, you know, as an elder within Rastafari, he has taught us certain principles that we upkeep, interestingly, during that time. I mean, from Ash Wednesday, as they call it, to the Resurrection Day, as we call it, but they call it Good Friday. It is a Good Friday because it's the Resurrection Day. Good. And these principles that he gave us to keep primarily has to do with eating or not eating, fasting. Now, before I hit the fasting, it's a bit more than fasting, and I will get to some of these in the future. Plus, as I said, I definitely have some visitors, guests line up, you know, for us to speak about this subject area in a bit more depth. I'm looking forward to all of that for sure. Yes, when the time comes. But it's a period of a specific type of discipline. For example, and a lot of what I'm telling you is what I learned directly from the elders. It's not like I'm making up my own thing and all of that kind of stuff. So you would learn that during this time, that things that, you know, the last time the Honorable Priest Dougie was here, he was speaking specifically of, we had a conversation dealing with the diet and the not too rich diet that, you know, ones would have experienced in the slums and the ghetto area of Jamaica at the time, coming up as Rastafari, not he specifically, but from back a while whenever coming through. Of course, ones are always italists, but whatever the situation is, still when it comes to certain staple, you still find man in the rice and peas and white flour and them kind of little things there. So interestingly now, from time that man can remember, when the Lent come around, you're not supposed to eat nothing in the white section of them kind of foods, like the grains, then the rice, no white rice, no white sugar, no white flour. You're definitely not supposed to use any rising agent, you know, the yeast and them kind of things. These are just staple things you would hear. Now, of course, the standard that we are on right now, we shouldn't be eating no white rice at no time. Even rice in general and sugar in general. I mean, in general, these things, you know, that is why we must understand, as Christ would say, no greater works than this shall ye do. Because we got to step the thing up a bit. It can't be on the same level forever. You know, white flour. You're not supposed to eat white flour during the time of Lent. I don't think you're supposed to eat white flour at all. You know what I mean? Wheat flour, someone's kick flour, period. But flour is just another term. Some meals are flour, you know. You could make cassava meal, some people, which we call the farine or the farine. Some people call it cassava flour, although there's a different texture with a cassava flour. But I'm just showing you the process, the milling process, taking the food and milling it and grinding it down is not necessarily bad. You know, but what are you using? White flour is not just a natural thing ground down. It's a thing that goes through a terrible process, bleached out, get gummy. Around here in the old days at the movie studio, they used to take white flour and stick the poster up on the wall. I clearly can remember that. That's when I was much younger. You know, things have, you know, evolved now. The movie poster is in a glass case. But I mean, when I was younger, they would take it, mix it with white flour and water, stick that high up on the wall. You know what I mean? When they take it down, you see it's still sticking on the wall. White flour, same thing they used to make the bread. You know, so these things, and I'm just bringing it in as how we say it, but as I say, it's beyond that. We shouldn't even be eating these things at all to say we're gonna stop eat them during Lent. You know, for us, yes, I agree. In that time, that was the word. Well, you know, during the time of Lent, a man must put away the white flour and the white sugar. How long we gonna say that? The fact that we have to say that, I mean, we are steps behind. We shouldn't be saying put away no white flour and white sugar. Who are you telling that? What is this? We shouldn't even be thinking about these things, eating these things and all of these things in our system, and sugar, and, you know. King Emmanuel teaches us that the best sugar is the molasses sugar, what they call the wet sugar. You know, if it's that you're dealing with, deal with your agave honey and your maple syrup. These are the things they use during this time here. You know, also the fish, for those who bat the fish. You're not supposed to eat fish during the Lenten period. And interestingly, in the Lent of, let's just say, the outer world, during the outer world, you know, they eat so many things. It's so bad that during the Lent, they're supposed to ease off all the meat. And if anything, just eat a little fish. No lobster, no crab, just eat a bit of fish. And that is because they're so deadly that they have to say, hey, just eat a little fish. Now, as Bobo Shanti now, during the Lent, they don't eat fish at all. Now, again, just like the white flour and the white sugar and all of them stuff, in my book, one should not be eating no animal whatsoever. Whether it's Lent not, fasting, praying, I ain't eating nothing with no eyes, no teeth. I mean, yeah. I was listening to a testimony from Bongo Isaac with Ras Flacco. And Bongo Isaac was speaking about, you know, when as a young Ras, he used to go diving and he used to catch whales and cockles, what you may call mussels and fish and so. And he said one day he running down a fish, and the fish, I think the fish went in a hole, come out the hole, and he said the fish opened up his mouth. And he see all the little fishies come out of his mouth and go back in his mouth. He said when he see that, he just stop killing fish. Yeah, it's just an understanding. It's a family. The fish have that fish that live together like mother and father with the children, you know. What you call them fish there?
School of fish.
A school of fish, no, but the one with the little fin, the movie we watched the time. Finding Nemo, what you call them thing there? A derogative name they give the fish, man. But anyway, there's a type of fish, the clownfish. Yeah, there's a type of fish. Family, mother and father live together. So you gonna go and swim and kill the father and think the mother and the child looking for daddy to come home. Yeah, just like any other animal. Just like you go and kill a penguin, the penguin's waiting for the penguin to come back with some fish for them to eat, So I'm just showing you that in my book, I don't really think in general, really, that should be a part of a Rastafari liberty, But during the time of Lent, for those who back the scales and the fin, during the time of Lent, it is prohibited. It's against the rules to be eating any kind of animals, whatsoever it is, fish specifically, as Bobo Shanti. So I'm just giving you that highlight, first, so you could understand where you're going. And as much as you could keep it natural, of course, again, we try our best to keep it natural, But this is the time you put a little extra effort then. So if you cook on a stove and you can, concentrate more on your wood fire with your clay pot, trust me, that's the energy of the Lent. Remember, we're dealing with fasting, So the cooking part and the food preparation part have to step up a certain level, Yeah. As I said, the preparation for the Lent is even key, even your, when you break your fast, things that must be, I can give you a little insight of myself. The liquids are very important for you to hydrate yourself. What type of liquid? Not just water. So again, you may not be drinking as much as you usually drink. Some of us don't live close to no spring, no waterfall, none of these things. Some of us, we have to go up in the supermarket and buy a bottle of water. Okay. All right. If you're usually accustomed to buy the regular distilled water that maybe you cook with or whatever you do with it and drink it sometime, try your best to buy spring water. Not necessarily the alkaline water that go through a machine, but natural spring water, whatever brand you think you can trust. Do your own research. I'm not here to tell you this brand is better than that brand and that brand is the best brand, and all of that stuff. They do say that the Fiji water is one of the top water, but still I ain't here selling nothing. Fiji never contribute a thing here. So, but I'm just showing you, try your best to get the best water. You break your fast, the liquids must be close by. You know how to break the fast for sure. I guess we'll get into that part some other time, but it involves a sip of water and washing of the face and rinsing out of the mouth. When you break your fast, spitting the water out to the south and dust the babbling and these different things. And then you take your sip and give thanks for the victory of the fast. Good. Then, of course, it would be good to remedy your inside with something warm, your tea, your warm sip and soup that, of course, moves bowels and get things out of the way and extra air out. But what I was stressing with the hydrating part of it, your natural spring water, your coconut water, your green juice. Now you see the green juice aspect of it. The green juice is very, very key. The green juice is very important. The aspect of green juice in general, not just during the fast. And when I say green juice, not just juice because it look green. And the powdered herbs that we buy. If you use the powdered herbs, you use the powdered herbs. I back the powdered herbs sometimes. But what I'm saying, if you can go into the wild and get your natural spinach, you see the spinach, the amaranth or the callaloo, that's one of the best. Not to go stew it down with no ackee, We're gonna blend the callaloo, blend it with some Spanish needle, blend it with the merengue, blend it even with the soursop leaf, which is the gravioli. You could blend it with your African violet. You blend it with a mint, a bit of mint or some sage to give it a different flavor, a touch of spirulina as well. you know, green juice, you know, lemongrass or your guinea grass as well is wonderful for that. You see, so when you get your daily green juice, especially after fast, what you have just put in with a bottle of that or a proper glass of that is the minerals, nutrients, vitamins that you need, because that's green juice. Trust me, a cup of green juice is more electricity than a plate of cooked food any day, no matter what in the food. Any day, no matter how pretty the lasagna look and how it smell, it coming out the oven, it done boil down, bake down, whatever, it cannot have the stats that a cup of green juice. Juiced properly too, because you can juice and kill too. Eh? You know, we can do so many things to kill the food. But juiced properly and you intake that, revives you. And I'm speaking electricity. The coconut water, electricity. The natural water, electricity. And of course, the sea moss is very important now for sure. You know, we would have had that conversation. I didn't want to go too deep into it here, you know, because that will take time. But you know, we came across some information where an elder was saying that you know during the Lent, you know, eat nothing from the sea, including sea moss. And the elder said so. I could tell you that the elder said so because that very same elder spending some time amongst us, see how we use the sea moss, and he himself really got into the use of the sea moss. But now, reasoning with other elders, they were saying that, well, they never really hear that because, to be honest, during that time there, we never used sea moss that much in the camp to say no sea moss. Jah just tell us don't eat nothing from the sea, but it's fish he was talking about. Now, ones would interpret it that, well, I remember Jah did say no eat nothing from the sea, but, you know, I believe it's everything from the sea because the sea cleaning out itself. Okay, all of this interpretation, you know. Okay, now this is the next thing. Keep in mind that the standard that we live in at that time is a lot of buy and feast. You know, when I say buy and feast, so in other words, the same fish thing. When you see man eating fish, it's fish that somebody just catch the fish, they go market, buy the fish and bring it back. Yeah, so the fish just come from the sea. Now, the sea moss don't necessarily just have to come from the sea. If you harvest sea moss, big up the man, Prophet Manai. If you harvest sea moss, and you preserve your sea moss, you don't harvest that 3 months ago and you still have it in the cupboard preserved. Yeah, that's fresh sea moss. So I personally really don't think, and that's just my opinion from ciphering it out myself, because as I said all the time, when it comes to this order, them elders is Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Yeah, they may have been there. I don't think Luke was, I don't even know you, but they all have their same story, but different versions slightly. Eh? So ones will tell you, no man, you're not supposed to use no sea moss. Why? Because John said nothing from the sea. But what was he talking about when he said that? I'm positive he's talking about the fish. But that is what man we're batting now. It doesn't mean one's never used sea moss. You know, don't get me wrong. I know somebody listening say, yeah, man, I remember man does use sea moss, but we know it's not sea moss like how man uses sea moss now. Every day we drink the sea moss. The nutrients and minerals they get from the sea moss. You know, and then ones will say, well, the reason why you ease off of the sea moss, this is the next reason I have to get it, not because the sea unclean, because the sea moss can get you giddy, and the sea moss can, you know, enough things can get you giddy, you know, man. Cinnamon can get you giddy too. Cinnamon, as they call it, right, man, is an aphrodisiac. Turn you on. You know, it's mind control, family. This thing and this thing can get you hot and get you heated. I'm not saying it can't, because it's made for that. But the mind's supposed to have more control of, you know, because during the Lenten time, no sexual intercourse is supposed to take place during the Lenten time. So all of that is important. That's the next level of discipline for sure. You understand? I don't have to go too deep into that. You already know what you have to do as it relates to that. But now, with the fasting part. So of course, again, the whole thing begins at Ash Wednesday. So So you wake up the morning. So it starts from that day. You wake up the morning. You wake up before the sunrise. Because this is a very important thing with the Lent. You wake up before the sunrise. It's so important. You should do that every day. I was taught, some might disagree with this, but I was taught when you do the cup fast, which I'm going to get to, you must wake up early and partake of your herbs if you're smoking herbs. Smoking herbs is not a rule really as such that I know of. And you're not supposed to smoke, you know. Man that said a fast until midday, you're not supposed to really smoke until after you break the fast. Now, of course, the one is going to tell you, well, that is for if you're in the tabernacle. Okay, fair enough. But are you sure you're not, you know, getting in between of a scientific flow when you're keeping that type of fast? So the cup fast, in its original sense, is something that must be broken in the tabernacle. And the mystic with the cup fast, when I learned this first, I was told that there are two types of fast: the cup fast and the hearticle fast. And trust me, people who teach me is real soldiers in this thing. So the cup fast is the fast where you break your fast in the tabernacle, and it's usually related to the 12 o'clock midday break your fast at the end of the service that going on since morning. Everyday service going on, every day you break your fast. Cup fast, not just on Good Friday, you know, every day. Okay. And you do your thing in the tabernacle, you break your fast in the tabernacle, and then you come out of the tabernacle, then you have your feast, you have that 2-hour period to eat. You don't have to eat everything one time, whatever. You have to know 2 hours is a long time. 2 hours is a good amount of time. You could have a nice meal, you could go and burn a chalice and still come back and eat something again before the 2 o'clock period. And then after the 2 o'clock period, and you begin your fast again, and that will take you till midday the next day. Okay. And that's the cup fast broken in the tabernacle. Now, that doesn't really happen that much now. Everybody knows that, although there's more Baba Shanti now in the world than even during the time when the Black Christ was in Jamaica sitting up with us on that level there. There are a whole heap more Baba Shanti right now all over the world, scattered. But that standard that was kept with the very few is not kept with the many. The standard that King Emmanuel would have kept with the very few. Now that there are many of us, degreed bobos and this and license and all kind of thing, and marijuana is legal, everything, but yet still the standard is much lower, or I should say not as high as what it was when the man was seated up with us on that level. So in other words, most ones that are fasting ain't fasting in no tabernacle. If you're doing a tabernacle thing, maybe you're in the brethren them doing a once a week thing. Hey, we have to see if we get at least one service a week. So it's not the seed. You understand? It's not that. So the point is now, because ones would argue that even though you are doing the 12 to 2 vibes of fasting, it's not a cup fast unless it's broken in the tabernacle. That's an interesting play of words. Then the second fast is what I originally heard to be called the hearticle fast. And this hearticle fast is that you break your fast when the sun sets after 6. Not after 12, after 6. Same procedure, you get the same time frame to eat, so that's about 6 to 8. Fast begin again. So it's basically the same thing, but one fast break at 12 and one fast break at 6. Now, I learned them as the hearticle fast, the one you break at 6, and the cup fast, the one you break at 12. Again, you hear me sitting with Priest Richie, Kes Westmore, And Kes Westmore is the one that kind of highlight that, hey, really a cup fast breaking the tabernacle in. Then the Honorable Priest Earl, who I intend to interview again before the Lent is done, you know, explaining to me why he break his fast at 6. Remember, I asked him why. He said that's the way Jadders do it. And I was really trying to understand. So if he didn't break his fast in the tabernacle since he broke it at 6, and he didn't understand, he said, well, I mean what I mean. If the service come down at 12, and then himself and Priest Fliego came into the conversation, and they were saying, boy, sometimes service never go down. That's sometimes. So I wasn't there. So I need to learn this thing properly and have an understanding. Because Priest early showing us stuff. When you break the fast at 6 in the tabernacle, that's a cup fast too. Of course, because it's a cup you use it. So even if you're keeping the fast from the 12 o'clock fast, and you begin to fast at 2, if it's not in the tabernacle, it's not a cup fast, it's a hearticle fast. Okay. So a hearticle fast is really a fast that's not taking place in the tabernacle. Oh. All right. But whenever you break the fast, whether it's 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock and it's during a service, it's a cup fast if it's in the tabernacle and you have your calabash cup. Okay. You see, we have to work this thing out, family. Remember, them things that come in no written manuscript and all of that in a sense. Okay, that's why some advocating writing it and some say, no, man, John never do all that. It's a thing you have to learn. Okay, as you go along, as you grow. But I'm always an advocate for putting points down, pen and paper. Because generations to come, things will change. Look at the black over white. Look at the black over white. I'm not going to talk about it tonight, but you know I get into that. Look at the black over white. Resurrection service going to come. We call the thing named Good Friday. Pure checkerboard. Pure checkerboard. One set of man have an all white and one set of man have an all black except the socks. Pure checkerboard. The man say, well, just change that when this and just change that then. And no, man, you're supposed to go back to this. That was just for one day and all kind of thing. Pure checkerboard. And then the next set they say, well, it's all right. Didn't make a difference. I mean, it make a difference. You have to go make a difference. Then the next sentence they say, well, it don't make a difference. But the man that carry the service must have a black over white. Yeah? Tell them that in Trinidad, the man. Listen. And this is why things need a certain level of record. Because you see, they have many that are with us in that was amongst the Black Christ. As time moves on, slowly but surely, that number gonna get less and less until they're gonna be one person that could say, yeah, man, I am the man that knew King Emmanuel, or woman. And when they rest down the structure, that's it. It's like we enter new realms where there is no one alive that knew King Emmanuel. No one alive that can say, yeah, man, I used to go to Marcus Garvey meeting. No one alive that can say, yeah, man, I remember as a child I saw Emperor Haile Selassie when he came to my country. Because time is moving on. In the next 100 years, nobody can say them things. So when one's going to be talking about this order, you're not going to be able to say, okay, tell you what, let me call Priest Earl. Priest Earl was the man that was right there when. Let me call Empress so-and-so because she's the first one to keep house and she would know. And so we need good record keeping, that's for sure. Good record keeping. All of these interviews you see we're going to do and we do it is record keeping. It is, you know, that's why you can go back and refer to them. Because it's record keeping. Yeah. So those are the two main fasts. That's them. What I would highlight about them is this. I believe in the philosophy of if you can't take a big bite, take a small bite. You know what that is about, right? Okay. And I mean, the mystic of how it's inside out, because a big bite is less food, a small bite is more food. In other words, I mean, fasting from 2 in the afternoon to 12 midday the next day for 40-something days not everybody can go to them seed day. Not eating at all for the whole sunshine and then go and take a little soup when it's 6 o'clock after the hour. Every day for a month and a half, not everybody can do them things there. Some people grow into it. So you have baby fast too. Some ones don't like even to talk about them. They don't recommend them. But it's baby fast. Meaning that as a principle, as you know, as a responsibility, you fast every day till midday. That's it. That's it. Just go and do what you have to do. And then when you wake up the next day, you just fast till midday. And that's it. That's it. The restriction done. That's a baby fast. Because some people can't even fast till midday. Some people can't make it till 9 o'clock. So you could see they need training. Then now there's a fast. You could fast until midday. Then you feast your food and give yourself the afternoon to eat. But when the sun sets at 6, begin your fast again. That's a small bite, a smaller bite than the real bite. Now, I'm not telling you this for you to say, oh yeah, I prefer those type of fast. No. That's no. I don't give you the real fast, Devin. But of course, you have to know what you can do. This is the point. But don't cheat yourself, man, and try to keep up them baby fast forever and ever and ever. You have to step up to the big leagues sometime. You understand? Step up to the big leagues, man. The fasting is a powerful, powerful vibration. But if you can't take a big bite, take a small bite. You understand? You know, because it's, you know, this is the first time you're doing it. Hey, the first time I fast lent, and I went full force. And it was the sunset fast too. Full force. Did that for several years before graduating or going into the 12 to 2 fast. You understand? And you know, one of the most unique, 1 year I never really fasted, and I started the fast and stopped the fast in between. And that's the year when my mother passed. My mother passed right in the middle of Lent. 21st day of March too. Right in the middle of Lent. And we're talking about 9 years or so ago. And when I say I mean, you know, Lent is symbolic of the suffering and the death and so of Christ, you know. And it was the 21st day of March, exactly a month from her Earth Day, which is the 21st day of April. You know, and there's so many other mystic things that happened around that, but that's let's just say that's for the family circle. And you know, and when I say she passed, nobody called me and tell me she passed, if you understand what I mean. She passed right on her bed, right in her room. You understand? And I would repeat, nobody had to call me and say, hey, you know what, because I was right there when it happened. So, and it was a lot of things happening, you know, family coming in and a lot of things, because she was definitely going out 2 weeks before you knew something was going to happen. And so even taking care of her, you know, making sure, you know, cooking and feeding, and that was during the Lent. I was doing the 12 to 2 Lent fast. But I'm telling you, when she passed on, I think for a few days I was still holding, but there's so many things were just happening, and I mean, it just, and I personally took the decision to rest down that fast. Hey, listen, Ras, how long I doing them fast? 20-something years I doing them things. I never miss a beat. Man does be say the fasting and cheating. Man does be say the fasting and cheating. Don't get me wrong now, you're not watching nobody business, you know. But you see, the fasting thing is a unity thing too, wherein you're supposed to actually fast with a oneness in mind, with a goal, you know, together. You can have your own personal goals. Obviously, you're supposed to fast with a goal, or just not be eating and carry your physical through this grueling thing for no reason. You know, you must have a structure in mind and say, hey, we're fasting for redemption. We're fasting for 7 or 9 miles of Black Star Line. And so yeah, the elders them talk. You know, but you're fasting for economic growth. You're fasting for, harmony within the family structure. You're fasting for many different things. Personally, your goals, targets, and as a oneness and as a group, we fast together with a mind frame. All of that is very important even going forward. So all of that is key within that energy there. So it's not just about not eating. Don't make it be that at all. Make it be something that is very holy. Make it be something that is precious to the being, to the soul, to the spirit. So you can go forward in that proper way. So again, those are the two main fasts. And again, if you can't take a big bite, you take a small bite. Now, those are bubble shanty fasts. I know in the world you have different fasts. You have water fasts where, because some ones will fast and say, well, they're drinking water, that's their fast. Listen, that's not it. That's not it. If that's what you're doing and because you can do better, that's you. But that's not it. If you can, you should do the thing properly, especially as bubble shanty, do your best to keep it up to the standard. So don't say, well, you're fasting, but you drinking water because, you feel it better. Well, you're doing your own thing. Nothing wrong, that's a good practice to fast and drink water. There's nothing wrong. There's not a sin to do it. Don't get me wrong. But if you say you're keeping an Emmanuel fast, not just that you're picking a day to do that. You're keeping Emmanuel fast. Yeah. And you can do better than that. Do better than that, man. He knows why it's set that way. So just encouraging ones, again, we'll have a lot more to say on this subject area. Just prepping myself again for the Tiger's Nest radio program. Now, this evening, we're going to be talking about some of the military coups that have been taking place in Africa. That will be, as I said, on the Tiger's Nest radio program. And it's going to be a very intriguing discussion, take it from me. In fact, I want to kind of give you a highlight of where we are. Okay, that's some information I have there. And what it has to do directly with is, of course, as I said, the situation in Africa as it relates to the different coups that are taking place now. Okay, and for example, if you look at this here, so in 2022, that's the 1st of February, a few days ago, there was a coup there in Guinea-Bissau. Then now, in the 24th day of January, that's this year again, there was a coup in Burkina Faso. That's just a couple of days ago again, less than a month ago. And then now, last year, between October and November, on the 25th of October specifically, you had the coup in Sudan. And then now in September 2021, that was an attempted coup in Sudan. And then the Guinean coup in 5th of September 2021, and the Tunisian political crisis, that's the 25th of July 2021, and the 24th day of May last year, you have in Mali, the next coup in Mali, and we can go on and on and on. But what I'm saying, family, is I'm really looking for your presence tonight. We're going to be listening to an interview with, some people, some of the experts that are conscious of really what is taking place. Because those of us, outside of the ring can say, oh, these African leaders they're so corrupt and they're this and they're that and all of the other stuff. But you got to keep in mind, family, now you're going to hear for yourself tonight, and make sure you tune in. That's Radio Anu. Radio Anu, the link is in the description below. You're going to hear for yourself that all of these military coups that I just mentioned, number one, all of the soldiers that are in charge were trained by the US Army. You're going to get some clear information on AFRICOM and see how all of these different military bases that are placed in Africa, how they are connected to the coups that have been taking place. Of course, you know, the African Union would have come out and, you know, condemned the coup and this was not our principle, etc., etc. But they're not telling you that there's strong US influence as it relates to that. But anyway, I'm not going to go too deep into that right now. We're going to do that on the Tiger's Nest. We have a whole hour plus. I know we're going to go over that to make sure you understand really what's at the root of the coups that you see taking place in Africa. So I'm inviting you to join me in the Tiger's Nest tonight. The link is in the description below this video. As soon as I'm done this, we're going to begin the Tiger's Nest and just carry it to another level. And once you're there, it's best you subscribe to the Tiger's Nest and become a part of the Tiger's Nest family for sure. But let me remind you also, before we split here, of the International Homeschool Program, the Biology Edition. The Biology Edition family. Remember, for sure, we already, you know, issuing out the African heritage, African history, and of course the astronomy edition of the International Homeschool classes. But we have recently launched the Biology Edition for the young minds, for the young ones, and definitely this will definitely strengthen them and even the biology is Afrocentric. Everything we do is Afrocentric. The young ones will definitely love it, and even for you older ones too, who need to brush up on your biology, who need to brush up on your astronomy. Most of us need to brush up on our African history and heritage. You know, how many of you know Swahili? Give me something to say. Swahili, I didn't know what to say.
Ujambo.
Ujambo, yeah. What does that mean? Yeah, come into the African, what does that mean?
Hello.
Hello. Come into the African Afrocentric International Homeschool class. Teach your children Swahili. Let them learn the African countries. Let them learn the African empires, the African kings. Let them, they will grow in, you know, what you would call pride for their Afrocentricity. Teach them about the movement of the planets and the stars, how the stars are made up. When it comes to biology, I think that's one of the most important subject areas, to understand the skeletal system, to understand how the cranium is made up. We teach all of that, and the young children remember. They ain't gonna forget. No word is too big for them, because we make sure we put on the children gloves to bring that information to them. All right, family, as I said, we're looking forward to your presence on the Tiger's Nest on Radio Anu right about now. And remember, as it relates to the spring equinox, you could definitely reach out to us. You could WhatsApp us as well. Call WhatsApp, area code 268-714-1227. That's area code 268-714-1227 for Rastafari Experience Antigua specifically, as it relates to the spring equinox, and you get some more information on that. Family, give thanks. As I said, join us on the website right now. The link is in the description below. Just go and press it. And of course, you know, the Tiger's Nest on at 7 p.m. That's the time frame we usually get kicking, but give thanks, you know, we did a little extra overtime here, but it's all right. We're going straight to the Tiger's Nest right now. Join us on Radio Anu. As I said, the description, just go down below. The link is in there. Life giver and the keeper of life. Holy Manuel, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, blessed Lord.